Welcome. We're here at the beautiful Kananaskis Mountain Lodge, and I'm joined with William Black from RJLL, and we're going to be talking about mental health, and just want to thank you and welcome you. And so please, give us a bit of background, William, of what you do and the company you work for.
I work as a health and safety director assistant, and I do all the special project. This was one of the projects that David, my boss, he talked to me about it. For us, this is really important what we're doing now, because we know that in 2023 it's really easy to compare yourself with the other, with all the social red and all that stuff. So as a human, you have the right to be listened and to be understood.
So a big focus, like I said, is health and wellness, specifically mental health in the mining world. So what is it that you hope to accomplish with your sponsorship of Bring It to the Surface and trying to educate and trying to share information? So just talk to us a little bit about kind of the goals and your involvement in Bring It to the Surface.
What I like is Bring It to the Surface is something that it's available for every drillers across the world. And it's also a good platform to help people that they have mental issues, because sometimes these people doesn't have the courage to go speak to your supervisor or your coworkers, and to know that they have some resources outside us, because sometimes we're a coworker but we're also friend. So sometimes someone is going to go talk to you and you don't have the right tools to help him.
You mentioned courage, and so I just want to talk a little bit about courage, because I haven't heard that word come up yet today, because there's so many key words you could use with bravery, courage, vulnerability, and the goal for Bring It to the Surface and what CDDA and with their partnerships are. The opportunity is for them to share information. So with courage, one of the barriers is getting individuals to open up. And so how can RJLL or a community support system improve individuals to actually answer questions or ask for help and have that courage?
Yeah, one of my good friends, he committed suicide last year. Because these time when you're working in the drilling industries, this can have both sides of the medal, right? Like you work hard, you're in the bush, you have no access to your family. Sometimes internet is not good. You work away from home, and then this guy, he called us. He said, "You know what? I need some help right now." So we took them out of the bush. We tried to help him as much as we could. We gave him a job at the shop, so he was more close to the city. And but at the end, it's hard for me to talk about it, because he was one of the most funniest guy on earth. When you was talking to him, he seems happy. He had some issue in his life, but
so completely unexpected, like
exactly,
one of those scenarios?
Exactly. I wouldn't say unexpected, because he had some issues in his life, as everybody has. But always a funny guy. He always woke up in the morning with a smile. But when he was leaving the job and he was going home, he had some dark pages in his book.
And that's actually one of the themes that have come up today too, where I guess invisible mental health, right? So we had a conversation earlier with a mental health fitness coach. And so we wondered and asked some of those kind of acknowledgement or identifiers of if someone is struggling with mental health, head up, but they don't create a dialogue, and they keep it kind of bottled up, and they don't share that information. How do supervisors or HR and leaders, try and pull that from them, because it's such an invisible, unknown, inside challenge?
Yeah, and you're totally right. Like most of the people that they commit suicide, you can't see it coming, right? When somebody's always said, "Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm tired. I wanna." These person, at least they have the courage to say it, right? But the people that they don't talk about it. To be honest, one of the tip I'll say to everybody is, when you're working in a camp and you work for 12 hours, and your supervisor or coworker, and it's time to go for breakfast or for lunch, don't talk about drill. Just ask your coworker how they doing. This is something important, because most of the time your shift is done, you go to the cafeteria and you keep talking about drilling, about a contract that you've been on 12 years ago. But just take 2 minutes to ask your coworker or your friends, because most of your coworkers are your brother or your friends. You pass more time at the camp that you're passing with your own family. Ask them how they're going, if they are going well, what their kids are doing, kids are doing sport, or wife, a job. Ask questions about life other than just work.
That was the exact same consistent answer that someone else mentioned, was be first to talk about it. And that is the only way to culturally change mindset and the behavior on site. So I asked specifically, those tips of how do you on site in remote areas in the bush approach or just change the behavioral culture. And that was the insight, was be first, but also talk about something other than work, other than what you're doing on site. And that was her simple answer, was just talk about, your, if you had a friend or a cousin or a family member, just talk about something other than work.
Exactly. And sometimes it's hard because you don't know nothing about the personal life of your coworker, but the more you want to know about it, and when you ask your buddies how they're doing, look at him in the eyes, right? Don't ask someone. If you're not ready to listen, don't ask somebody, how is he going? I don't know if you understand what I mean. Like, if you're asking to someone how they're doing, if you're not ready to give some time to this person.
I absolutely understand, and I'll give an example. Kind of out of category, but kind of a context example with children. I have a 5 and a 7-year-old, and when they come home from school, and I ask both of them separately, "How was your day?" "Good." And you ask them, "How was your day?" "Good." But if you ask them, "What did you do at school?" they'll say, "At recess, I learned to skip." So you have to ask the more specific to get a specific answer.
Exactly, because if you ask a simple question that someone can respond with a yes or no.
Right. So William, how are you?
I'm good. Exactly.
And that's what my 5 and 7-year-olds say. And then I have to ask, well, why are you good? Because, you came off the bus a little grumpy, so you don't look good. And then I have to ask, did you, were you standing up on the bus and the bus driver told you? So it's like you have to ask those specific questions to get to the beyond the good, because that's the default answer.
Yeah. And honestly, one of the other things that I would recommend to people, it's pay attention to details, right? Because, for example, if you were working with someone for 5 years and one day he's always asking questions, how we do it, and you said, you know how to do it. Because sometimes if those people, they don't know how to do something that they're used to do for the last 5 years, maybe there's something behind it too. It's not because one day it's exactly.
The detail, like the attention to detail, and lifting your head up, observing, and being aware of the details. And I completely understand. That's a really good tip. Again, another new tip that we haven't heard yet in this convention, I would say. So that was attention to detail. If I bring it to the surface and your involvement and RJLL's involvement, you identified the industry challenges with remote and you're away from home. You also mentioned food. Is there a way, or could you talk to us a bit about diets and exercise and sleeping patterns, and how that's a contributing factor, or maybe it's, or the role that plays, I guess, for on-site remote field work?
Obviously, with the shape that I have, I'm maybe not the right person to ask question about diet and exercise, but I used to play hockey though, and then I worked for a long periods of time. I did for 42 days straight, 12 hours a day. You need to have good sleep. Sleep, I think one of the most basic thing is the sleep. The amount of sleep that you have every night. A human needs to sleep, need to eat well, and exercise her body and their head, because once you're at the drill site, you're at the mine, there is nobody except you. If one day you don't want to go to work, there's nobody who can go to work for you. So you need to be able to take care of yourself. And it's also, you need to put your limits too. So if you have kids and you have wife at home, of course your wife is going to call you at night to let you know how good the kids are going at school. And sometimes it could be hard, right? But it's important also for your wife, for your kids, for your family, to know that when you're working away from home for a long period of time, you're doing it for yourself, but most of the time you're doing it for your family, right? And it's really important for your wife, for your girlfriend, for your kids to understand that you are there for work, yeah. And at night, if something's happened, and because it happens to me, right? We all you're fighting with your girlfriend, and then you're sending text messages until 1 a.m, but you have to wake up at 5 the days after. And sometimes you let your wife needs to know that it's when to stop.
And yeah, you have to have individual strength, self matters, self-care, and you have to have that strength when you're away to have the energy, have the mental strength.
And this is something that you don't need to be shy to work to talk about with your wife or your girlfriend, because when you come back home, you need to do a retrospection of how works was when you were away from home. So you be able to talk. You said, you know what, last time I went to sleep late because we were talking about this, and the days after, it's
big believer in reflection, self-reflection, self-awareness. Warren, the keynote speaker, talked a lot about light bulb moments. And I was asking him afterwards how someone is to catch a light bulb moment. Like, he told a story, and he had light bulb moments, but everyone may miss those light bulb moments. So that's a really important factor, I think, is you have to pause, you have to be aware to catch the reflection moments, the light bulb moments, and then make choices, conscious choices to have strength, I guess, right?
And I talk a lot about wife or girlfriend, but if you don't have wife, girlfriend, or kids, call your mom, call your dad when you're away from home. You know what? Sometimes that's the only thing your parents are waiting for you, is just a call. And
on the flight here, I saw 2 or 3 different people sitting near us before takeoff on their phone with their mom, saying, like, just basically giving them an update and that we're taking off. And so, like, yeah, don't be shy to talk to your own mom.
Exactly, because you're never alone. There's always someone who cares about you.
So, William, just want to ask the company RJLL and the fit with Bring It to the Surface, and the reasons why you and the community in the mining world have kind of identified that Bring It to the Surface as a program is such an important fit for RJLL and for the community of mining.
I think everything started from the top. When you have bosses that they care about human, that they care about life at works, when you have some boss supervisor that they care about you, this is where everything is starting. My boss, the company that we work with, we are a family company. My bosses knows each and every of each employees that we have. They really care about them, and at the end of the day, we're talking about human life. It's not a car, right? So, like I said earlier, everybody have the rights to be listened and understand, and it's so hard. It's so hard to find good people in a company that you can trust, and RJLL is doing everything they have, and they're gonna keep doing everything they can in the future to make sure.
I wanted to ask, like, specifically your company RJLL, the programs or the specific company initiatives.
We have a program, employees program that we have. We're talking lots about it in the safety meeting. We have a pot that the company's putting money in it. If you have problem, if you're facing difficulties, you can call this number. The bosses are not going to know who calling it. We're just getting charged, and I know for a fact that it helps lots of our employees, right? That they have a number that they can call. They gave us resources, psychologists, doctors, and from day one that I work for RJLL, it was something really important for my bosses, and we at least once a month we try to put it just wrote down a number in a safety meeting just to let the workers know that if some things happen, they have a number that they can call. And Bring It to the Surface is just going to be a good continuation of what we were doing before.
For everyone listening, the audience listening, do you have any messages for the audience to share and to kind of spread that's just so important from you or from the company to our audience?
There are always gonna be better days, no? Is after the rain comes the sun, and it's really important to know that it's not always gonna be like that, no? But the thing is that you really want to help you, because people around you, they can do everything they can, but it starts with you guys. If you can do something, the best gift you can do to yourself is just be able to speak up and take care of yourself.
I love that. Yeah, it's the best gift. Thank you so much, William, for being
My pleasure,
here.
anytime.
I just want to give a shout out to RJL, who's current sponsor for this initiative, for Bring It to the Surface. And we currently have a website under CDDA/health and wellness. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.